All right, today we're talking about something called the fiber effect. We're going to find out how this one simple nutrient could be the key to unlocking your gut's hidden potential.
Okay, so let's just jump right in with a pretty wild question. Can you actually overhaul your body's entire internal ecosystem in just 14 days? I mean, come on, that sounds a little like science fiction, doesn't it? A quick fix for something so incredibly complex.
Well, believe it or not, it's not sci-fi. New research is showing pretty clearly that a simple 2-week fiber boost can cause major, measurable changes to your gut microbiome. And yeah, the results can happen that fast.
So, how is that even possible? To figure it out, we're going to do something a little different in this explainer. We're literally going to follow a single piece of fiber on its incredible journey through your body. We'll see what it does, step by step, and why it's such a game changer.
But first things first, we've got to understand the problem we're even trying to solve here. And that problem has a name. Researchers call it the modern fiber gap. And it's really a tale of two completely different diets.
Okay, get this. For basically all of human history, our hunter-gatherer ancestors were eating tons of plants. We're talking over 100 grams of fiber a day. That's what our bodies and all those little microbes inside us evolved to expect. Now fast forward to today, the typical Western diet, we're getting less than 20 grams. That's not just a drop, that's a cliff.
And you can see just how wide that gap is right here. Look at the data for the US. Men are supposed to get around 38 grams, women 25. But what are we actually getting? Men are averaging about 18 grams, and women are down at 15. I mean, we're not even hitting half of the recommended amount, never mind what our ancestors were eating.
All right, so let's start that journey. Let's follow that piece of fiber as it takes what you might call the path less digested and find out why that's so important. So what even is fiber anyway? At its core, it's a type of carbohydrate that comes from plants. But here's the key. It's resistant. You see, unlike other carbs like sugars and starches, our own human enzymes can't break it down. For all intents and purposes, it's indigestible to us. So its journey through you is actually pretty straightforward. Once you eat it, it just sails right on past all the usual stops. It goes through your stomach and your small intestine completely untouched. It arrives in your large intestine, your colon, pretty much whole. It's like a special delivery package arriving at its final destination. And who's the lucky recipient of that package? Well, this is where the story gets really, really cool. It's time to meet your gut microbiome. We're talking about the trillions of tiny allies living inside you right now. And I just want you to look at this number for a second. 38 trillion. That's the best guess for how many microorganisms are living in your gut. It's not just a few bacteria, it's a bustling, complex, and absolutely vital city living inside of you. You know, a great way to picture this whole ecosystem is to think of it like a personal, internal fermentation factory. It's got trillions of microscopic workers, and they're all just waiting for the raw materials they need to get to work. And guess what that raw material is? Yup, it's that piece of fiber we couldn't digest. And this factory has this amazing assembly line all based on teamwork. It's a process called cross-feeding. You've got your primary degraders. These are the bacteria that are really good at breaking down the big, tough, complex fibers first. When they do that, they create smaller, easier-to-eat pieces. And then the secondary degraders can come in and feast on those leftovers. It's a really elegant, symbiotic system.
Okay, so this brings us to the main event, the climax of our fiber's journey. We're talking about the power of fermentation and the, well, liquid gold that it creates for your body.
So what is fermentation, really? It's just the fancy word for these gut bacteria eating the fiber we sent down to them. They're just breaking it down to get energy for themselves. But here's the amazing part. What's a waste product for them is an absolute treasure for us.
And these treasures are called short-chain fatty acids, or SCFAs for short. The three big ones are acetate, propionate, and butyrate. They all do super important stuff, but I want you to pay special attention to that last one, butyrate. Why? Because it is the #1 preferred fuel source for the cells that line your colon. It literally feeds your gut wall and keeps it strong.
But wait, it gets even better. Their job doesn't just stop in the gut. No way. As this research shows, these SCFAs actually get into your bloodstream and travel all over, acting as powerful messengers for your entire body. We're talking about regulating your metabolism, tweaking your immune system, the list goes on. They are absolutely crucial for your overall health. Okay, so here's a really important detail. Think about it. Just like you have favorite foods, so do your gut bacteria. Not all fiber is the same to them. You can think of it like an a la carte menu for your microbiome.
And this is where it gets really fascinating. Check this out. Different types of fiber actually feed different types of good bacteria. For instance, there's a fiber called inulin. You find it in onions, garlic, that kind of stuff. And it's a favorite food for a bacteria called bifidobacterium. Then you have something called resistant starch, which you get from cooled potatoes or rice. And that's a feast for another group called ruminococcus. So you can literally pick your fiber to feed specific microbes.
So let's put all this together. What's the bottom line? What are the big takeaways from all this?
Well, one key finding is that the amount you eat really matters, but there seems to be a sweet spot. For example, one study found that just 10 grams a day of a specific fiber was enough to seriously boost some of those good bacteria. What's interesting is that even higher doses didn't necessarily work better. So it's not always more is better. It's about the right amount.
And maybe the most important takeaway is this: where you start from matters. A lot. The research is showing, again and again, that adding more fiber works best for people who have low levels of those good bacteria to begin with. It makes sense, right? If a certain type of bacteria isn't really there, or there are only a few of them, just throwing its favorite food at it might not be enough to really get it going.
Okay, so let's boil it all down to 3 key things to remember. Number 1, most of us have a huge fiber gap in our diets. Number 2, this is a big mental shift. Fiber isn't really for you. It's food for your gut bacteria, and it's what they produce that gives you all the benefits. And number 3, because of that, the type and the amount of fiber you eat are basically tools you can use to selectively feed the good guys in your gut. And all of this leads us to one final, really interesting question. When you think about it, the fact that different fibers feed different bacteria, that the dose matters, and that everyone's starting microbiome is unique, well, does that mean that a personalized fiber plan could be the future of preventative medicine? It's a pretty powerful idea. Thanks for tuning in.